Yo, Tripolar Bear. Let's get to the Syndicate guide. All right, I'm going to try to tone this down. I'm going to try to keep it as quick and concise as possible while still providing enough information so you sort of understand what's going on and so you can know and understand the money-making methods that have been going on with the Syndicate board and so that you can start taking advantage of them, because it is a little bit confusing and I understand, but I've toned it down as much as I can. So let's get started. So I've removed all of the extra members here that you don't have to worry about, and I've only included those that have very valuable rewards. As you notice, transportation and fortification, they do not have that good of rewards, and so we will not be doing any transportation or any fortification hideouts at all. But what we will do is research and intervention, the R and the I. Research is very good for the namesake and the most profitable Syndicate member of all being It That Fled. It That Fled will upgrade a Breachstone to Charged, Enriched, and Pure. Now, this is real good because pure Chayula Breachstones give you about 1 Exalt or more, even including prices right here, right now. In this current league, it's always about 1 Exalt as a bonus profit for upgrading a normal Chayula stone to a pure. Now, you do need to have enough money to buy regular Chayula stones, but you can use a normal one. And keep in mind, if rank 3, right, this is how you get the pure. You need to rank It That Fled up, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But you need to rank It That Fled up to rank 3 to give It That Fled a pure Breachstone. You know, or 35 quality for other people, right? Rank 3 is the highest. We'll talk about how to rank up. And if they're the leader of the branch, which we'll talk about later as well, keep in mind that it doubles the rewards. So if It That Fled is the leader of research, then It That Fled can upgrade 2 Breachstones. So you need to keep that in mind. You need to keep that in mind so that you can buy 2 regular Chayula Breachstones to upgrade them. The other research that is very nice and that I like to use is Varici. Varici can add 1 to 3 at rank 3, 1 to 3 white sockets onto an item, which is really cool, right? It lets you swap things out, lets you use gems you wouldn't be able to use on some hard to color items. It's very nice, and you can even sell these on the TFT Discord. Now, I've included this in a last video where you can sell harvest seeds. You can sell these Varici crafts, or later the Hillock craft, to give 35 quality to a map in the TFT Discord as well. This will be in a services channel. Next, the best rewards are going to come from intervention as well. Intervention is very nice, giving you some gilded scarabs. Now, this isn't as much of a moneymaker as the It That Fled Breachstone upgrade can be, but it's still very nice, and it's one of the only other branches that is very profitable as well. Transportation and fortification, they just suck. But at least intervention gives you some scarabs. Right now, the most expensive scarabs are the divination scarabs, the reliquary, and the legion. Now, this can change throughout the league, but you're generally very safe just going with the divination and reliquary scarabs at least. If you want to do legion, that's totally fine. And keep in mind, when you get these to rank 3, if you choose reliquary and divination, if you get Elrion and Gravicius to rank 3, now you get gilded scarabs. And sometimes these chests will drop a few gilded, or they'll drop a gilded and a polish. So it all adds up. It's very nice. And it's just free money that's just lying around if you don't set up your board correctly. Now, I will include this picture in the description of the video. I think it's very nice to have it all toned down, all of the fluff removed. You know, all of the other rewards and all the other members, they don't matter. Really, we only focus on It That Fled and Varici for research, and Elrion and Gravicius for intervention. Depending on the price of some scarabs, you might want to swap those 2 up, but I don't mind just having Elrion and Gravicius. It makes things very nice and very easy. Now, Hillock here is a little bit of a spicy meme because Harvest Crafting has let people put map enchants onto a map so that the sextants are not consumed. Now, people would just use fractured fossils on this map, so they would want to make sure, instead of a 20 quality, right, they're trying to make a map so good that you use multiple exalts on it. they want to make sure that they can get as much juice as possible. So they will actually buy 35% qualities from people, because not too many people use Hillik in intervention. So having him in there can be pretty valuable sometimes to get 35 quality. Now, before you do a hideout, if you do choose Hillik, make sure you post it in the Discord first, because you don't have to wait until someone buys it from you. So that's just something to keep in mind. If you don't want to deal with all of that, feel free to do the scarabs. But let's talk about how we're actually going to set up our board. So before you find all of the individuals here, your board is going to be a lot of question marks. Feel free to just go through, try to explore the members. But the one thing you do want to focus on as soon as you can is actually getting your mastermind filled. Now, you don't do the mastermind, but you want to have this filled by doing other safe houses. It doesn't matter what other safe houses you do, but there are a few things that you want to do as soon as you can. And one of those is filling the mastermind bar. And we'll talk about why that's important later, but just keep that in mind. Next, you want to get all of the other members that are not It That Fled, Varici, Gravicius, and in this case, I chose Vegan for Legion Scarabs, right? Get all of those other members to go to transportation or fortification. You want all of them going into these two branches, so that all that's left in research is It That Fled and Varici, and all that's left in intervention in this example is Gravicius and Vegan. Everybody else needs to find a home in one of these other two branches. It That Fled, after you complete your safe house, is going to be moved all the way down into the jail, where It That Fled will be interrogated and will give mastermind intelligence. And this is where it comes in handy, having your mastermind intelligence full, right? And having only 2 members in research. So Varici is going to pop up to research now. It That Fled is in jail, but the very next Syndicate mission that you do, It That Fled is going to come back and be subordinate to Varici. So this lets you bounce between these 2 individuals and have no other random people join in your research. So you never have to worry about It That Fled being homeless or accidentally going to fortification, and then you have to remove them and get them back in research. It will be a very, very easy swap, and that's why we fill the mastermind intelligence. Again, after you do the safe house, It That Fled will go down to the jail. Varici goes up to the leader position, and the very next encounter, It That Fled will pop back into research, so that there are at least 2 people in research. And that is very, very nice. Since the mastermind intelligence is full, It That Fled can't give any more mastermind intelligence, so It That Fled just pops out. The exact same will happen with Gravicius and Vegan. If you did your intervention encounter here, Gravicius pops down, Vegan goes up to leadership, and the next encounter you do in a map, through your map device or otherwise, Gravicius pops back because the mastermind intelligence is full. So now that you kind of understand why it's important that we only have 2 members here, and why we want the mastermind intelligence to be filled, let's talk about the relationships very quickly. For the relationships, you want as many people as possible to be rivals with your research people and with your intervention people. So this means anytime there's a chance at a rivalry, you want to create that from a research member to a different Humegalol, all right? Let's call them how they are. Let's just make it very easy. Everybody who's not in research or intervention, right? Anyone who's not these 2 or these 2, they are Humegalols. And you want these Humegalols to be rivals. So if you find Tora and Varici in a mission and you get the option, make a rivalry between the 2 and it will draw a red line. If you find Riker, try to get Riker, the Humegalol, a rival with Varici. And the same with It That Fled, right? Janice and It That Fled want to be rivals. You want Varici and Janice to be rivals. Guff and It That Fled, right? And eventually you're going to have a lot of these red lines going outwards. Now, you do not want rivalries between Gravicius and Varici, between intervention members and research members, because what makes the rivalry good is the execute option, which gives a rank up. So if It That Fled is rank 1, then we want to have an execute option. And creating these rivalries between other members gives you execute options and a higher likely chance that they'll show up in another mission. So when we do research, It That Fled is likely to bring along Janice, Guff, Leo, or Haku. And since they are here, we have a better chance at having execute options for It That Fled, giving another rank up here. Another reason, and probably the more important reason why we don't want interactions between intervention encounters and research members, is how we get the intelligence to go up. When we find other members of the other two Humegalol branches in a research encounter, for example, you will want to put them into the jail. So if we do a research syndicate mission and we have It That Fled, Guff, and Haku, we want Haku to go to jail, because since Haku showed up in a research mission, Haku is going to give research intelligence, right? This is why we don't want Gravicius or Vegan in with these, because when you send them to jail, they lose a rank, but they give intelligence. So this is very nice, right? Even though Haku is in fortification, if Haku shows up in a research encounter, Haku gives research intelligence. Now, we don't want Gravicius to show up, because if we want to get research intelligence, we would have to rank down Gravicius, and we don't want to do that, right? We want all of these people to be 3. We want these people to be 3. So all we want to do is create these rivalry lines between each and every member of research and all the Humegalols, right? Eventually, everybody should have red lines going to all the research members, and all the Humegalols should also have lines going to all the intervention members as well. Now, it does get a little bit messy, but I hope you are able to follow along. Even the leaders, it doesn't matter. But remember, we will never want a rivalry between Verici and Gravicius. This is a no-no. Do not do this, right? Remember, we only want the Humegalols showing up to research and intervention. And eventually, this is what your board will look like. For example, let's go through the scenario where you will have these encounters. So you do a research mission. Let us say that Guff here, It That Fled, and Janice show up in your mission. You're going to want to execute It That Fled first, because it's most important to get the ranks. And you can always put to jail, right? The left option is putting them down into jail and interrogating them. The right option, if there are 2 or more people, is more likely to be execute than not. I think almost all of the time it's going to be an execute option. So we execute It That Fled first. Now, It That Fled was 1 star. We're going to make It That Fled, since we executed them, have 2 stars now, which is very nice. Almost getting to that 3rd star. Now that It That Fled was executed, what are we going to do with Guff and Janice? Well, Guff and Janice are both rank 3, so we're going to put them both into the jail and give a ton of research intelligence. So this is a sort of example of what you're going to do with your syndicate options. Making sure to have your relationships, making sure you execute It That Fled, Verici, Gravicius, and Vegan anytime you can, because that does give very, very good rank ups, which is where we get all of our money, right? The rank 3 is where the more profit is. Nobody wants charged. Nobody wants enriched stones. They only want normal or pure. And same with gilded, right? It's much better to have gilded scarabs than it is to have polished or rusted. So getting the rank 3 is the most important. And having all of these relationships is also very important. Now, let's say that It That Fled is a leader of research, and we actually got It That Fled with our big brain and tripolar bear strategies to rank 3. So now It That Fled is rank 3. We do the research safe house. We put It That Fled, right? We do the safe house. We interrogate, because you have to at the end to unlock the door to get the rewards. You interrogate It That Fled. It That Fled now goes down to the bottom and loses all of the stars that they had. And now Verici takes their place. And It That Fled goes back here, and just pretend with me that It That Fled only has 1 star because I can't remove him. It That Fled now has 1 star and is back in research, and now Verici is the leader. Now, all you have to do with It That Fled and Varici, if Varici has more than one rank, you can just derank Varici, and It That Fled will take the place of the leadership. So that's how you do a leadership swap. Just be careful if Varici only has 1 star and you interrogate him, he's going to come out with 1 stars. Now, he might just pop back into research, but I have actually had it happen. It was really funky sometimes where he's kind of just aimless and someone random comes in. So it's best to just make sure that he has at least 1 rank on him so that when he does come out of intervention, he will have 1 rank and he'll go straight to research instead of being, homeless and rankless, aimlessly wandering around. Just make sure that he is at least 2 stars when you put him in jail so that It That Fled pops up here and becomes leader, and then Varici comes back here with 1 star. Anyways, I'm trying to keep this a little bit quick and concise. I hope this has helped you guys. I'll put all of these cheat sheets down into the description to try to help you guys out with this. It is a little bit confusing, but the best way to get in here is to just go in there, use these tips, make sure it's just It That Fled Varici in research, Gravicious Intervention here, fill your mastermind meter, and create rivalries from research outward and from intervention outward, but not between research and intervention. That is the quickest and most concise version that I can give. I hope this helps you, and I'll catch you guys in my YouTube and Twitch stream. All right, I'll see you guys there. Bye. Make that money. Make pure breach stones. All right. Help everyone get to level 100. All right. Bye, everybody.